Hi everybody, it's me Noel. I'm here making a video about a very important subject and movie because this movie represented a story that kept me going back for more, because watching it really made me root for them, and it really made me I can't explain it in words. The movie I'm talking about is The Assault, and if you don't know what that is, it's with Pearson Fode, I don't know how you say the last name, and Mackenzie Vega. And it has nothing to do with the cast. I'm not saying I love the movie because of the cast. They're an amazing cast. I think they did a great job. The guy who played Christopher Birch got me to hate him. As soon as I seen him, I hated him. I hated the others. But this movie I have continued to watch because the story behind it is so sad yet so powerful. Because you have this girl who doesn't remember anything, and you have these football players sticking up for each other after knowing what they did to her. And you have the coach who watched the video of her actually screaming no, and them on top of her and holding her down and her yelling, "Get off me, no." And instead he edited it to where it looks like she wanted to have sex with them, when really all she wanted to do was get out of the room. But how do you get out of the room when there's 5 football players all ready to take her on, all ready to rape her, all ready to stand by and watch as she screams and screams until finally she blacks out, until finally she wakes up with bruises all over her and her uniform gone? I mean, this story was, when I first heard of the story, I was thinking, okay, it's about the girl who got raped by the 2 football players. She was drunk, they were taking pictures of her, and she doesn't really remember what happened. But it was a little more different than that. You have her boyfriend, ex-boyfriend at the time, Reed, who is standing there, and he's allowing them to call her a liar. He's allowing them to continue with their lives as if nothing happened, as if nothing will ever happen again. Do you not understand? Once they rape someone and get away with it, they'll do it again and again and again, because they're football players, because they're going somewhere. They think they can just pass all the laws. They don't have to worry about nothing. And when you have a coach who decides that their football future is more important than the girl's well-being after being raped by these football players, who have no regret, who don't care what they did, who thought of it as a joke, and for the friends to leave her, and for the friends to not find out what really happened, but instead shut her out, to the friends who saw her light herself on fire because of all the pain she was in. Do you fake that? Do you fake shock? Do you fake pain like that? Have you ever woken up on your front lawn in a jersey, bruised where you can't walk? Do you even know what that feels like? For you to just look away and act like you don't even know her disgusts me on so many levels. And for the football players to get all smug and lie for each other because they're the Wolves and they stick together, and yet they stick together and they're there for each other, but yet he slept with his best friend's ex-girlfriend. She's completely drunk. She is barely forming sentences. You have to help her up. And the people who are around there are just looking like it's nothing. And then they see him throw her over his shoulder, and take her upstairs while she's basically unconscious. And they even see about 3 other guys follow them, and they just stand there and keep partying like it's nothing. Like nothing is going to happen. And she screams no, and she says, "Get off of me." And they hold her down and they say, "Keep quiet, baby." And no one does anything. No one. Until eventually Izzy sees, I guess, the video on her boyfriend's phone, and then she finally decides to do something. She finally decides to show the world what these guys really are. They are rapists who deserve to be punished. And the ending part, when she puts on the loudspeaker at the football game, the voice and everything that happened, no, let me go, and she stands there in front of everybody. That is the bravest thing I have ever seen. For her to not only go against these people, not knowing what happens, being called a slut, being isolated from everyone, she still keeps on going. She still stays strong. And she makes sure what happens to her never happens again. She makes sure that everyone knows what they did. And when everyone stands up and supports her, you see that unity. You see the people come together, and you see the people realize that these kids, just because they're football players, just because they're going somewhere, just because you root for them, you're fans of them, they are people who do horrible things. They are people who rape innocent girls. Yeah, she was drinking too much. She got in a fight with her boyfriend. They broke up. She had a little too much to drink. But does that give them the right to rape her? Because she decided to get drunk, that gives them the right to rape her. Because she can't walk on her own, they decide to start pulling at her arms and dragging her and taking photo shoots with her when she's like, and they think it's okay. They think, well, we're football players. She doesn't remember anything. We'll all stick together. No. Because you know why? You have the detective who won't give in. You have the detective who had the same thing to happen to her. And you know what's funny? Her brother did nothing. And the same brother who did nothing is the coach who decides to keep the video of her getting raped quiet. Who could live with themselves? Who could do that knowing what happened? How could you look at them and not see disgusting human beings who raped a girl who was in so much pain and in such shock that she decides to light herself on fire? A girl who didn't tell anyone what happened. A girl who doesn't remember anything. How do you live with yourself? How do you look at them and say, well, they're football players. They have this big future ahead of them. So, they raped a girl. Things happen. They're kids. This movie really made me feel something. And I can't explain it into words. I mean, this movie was it was sad what happened to her, but at the same time, I was sitting there thinking, she's so brave, because so many people forget what happened and don't report it, or so many people who don't remember what happened pretend like it never happened to begin with. The bruises they have are just bruises, and they try and move on with their lives, when every day inside, it's slowly killing them. Inside, they feel dead.